Omar, to start with you. You've worked with over 2,000 brands. What separates loyalty programs that actually drive revenue from those that just sit in the footer?
So people generally make the mistake of just putting a program, putting a 10% discount and leaving it there. It's all about the effort. You start with step one of collecting the data, like you collect the email IDs, you collect the birthdays, you collect the reviews, you incentivize them. You incentivize them to write a review, you incentivize them to write a UGC, unboxing, anything like that. So you start with the data collection for 3 months and then you sort of build on that. People just forget it, don't integrate it with their email tool, the CRM tools, the WhatsApps, so on and so forth. So yeah, if you just put it there, it's not going to work.
I think some people just get it because they think that's what you should do, but you've got to optimize it, haven't you?
Yes, definitely. We have seen brands which are like in similar categories doing the same number of sales, the same number of volumes, and one works better than the other. And why is that? Because the other brand puts in the effort. They just put up more emails, they communicate better, they do A/B testing, they change the goalpost every quarter. Yeah. So it's not like I just want repeat, it's not going to be 30% in 1 month, right? It's 3% in 1 month, 7% in month 2, 10% in month 3, and then you go from that. So that's a big shift of how much I use it, how much effort I put in, and it works.
Amazing. Matt, I've got some amazing stats and numbers in front of me. So over 1 billion items shipped with 99.98% on-time accuracy.
That sounds about right, yeah.
So how does fulfillment impact retention more than brands realise?
So there's a few different elements to this, and I think it comes down to the whole experience post-purchase in reality. So it's not just about pressing the button to buy now. After that, it's over to your fulfillment partner or 3PL to do that for you. And ultimately, if that goes wrong, that's when, quite often, that's the first experience where, the first part of the customer journey where the customer's got their brand in front of you. It's paid media, essentially, and there's the opportunity there to really make sure that everything looks good, it's been delivered on time. So there's a few different things to watch out for there in terms of making sure that the delivery experience is seamless. The packaging has arrived beautifully, and if something does go wrong, it's been dealt with effectively as well. It's not just about the acquisition part where brands, as we heard today, are spending so much money on that. With a little bit of extra working with your fulfillment partners, you can make sure that the last part of that journey always goes seamlessly. And crucially, with the packaging, and we'll touch on this a little bit later on, but the packaging is such an important part to retention where you can have calls to action, you can have founder messages, there's so much you can put in there to make sure that your customer stays with you.
Yeah, I think people just want to know that if something did go wrong as well, that there's someone there to help rather than be left in the dark. Janis, so Clothes Doctor uses subscriptions, right? And what made you lean into subscriptions, and what keeps customers subscribed month after month?
Yeah, so, let's be really honest. Where we started from a business perspective was much more around, well, actually for us, we're all facing rising acquisition costs. Those are so much more cost effective if we can get higher lifetime value. So from our point of view, it was originally a business driven thing, but that doesn't work unless it's also a customer driven proposition. Like, I've worked in subscriptions on and off for nearly 30 years, and I can tell you that a lot of brands are like, oh, we should do subscription. It's like, yes, but why should your customer care that you have a subscription? What's in it for them? And that's what led us to develop 2 specific subscription propositions that were really based on what do our customers need, and why would subscription be the best solution. So we developed 2 products. Initially, we developed our Send and Protect box, which is a quarterly box that sends you the specific things that you need to care for your clothes right now. Our entire philosophy of a business is most people wash their clothes too often. Like, instead of washing, refresh your clothes, protect them when they're in storage, and when you are washing them, wash them with the care that they need so they stay looking long for as long as possible. But, you know, if I'm wearing a jumper like this, I really shouldn't wash this unless I've actually got something on it. The rest of the time I should be caring for it. So we send those boxes quarterly, and it's based on what specific things do you need that time of year. They've got beautiful seasonal scents. They're very much for people who have, like, good wardrobes that they want to take care of. They're not from the people who are buying fast fashion. So that was the original subscription proposition. And then September last year, we said, well, actually, yes, but what about the clothes that you wear every day that you do need to wash, you know, every week? And for that, we said, well, the proposition is different. That actually, most of the detergent that you buy in supermarkets, it's 90% water. And of what's left, most of that is filler. Like, so you're basically paying to ship like water in big plastic bottles. It's massively wasteful. So instead, we said, right, our subscription proposition for everyday laundry is we're going to send you 2 beautiful refillable glass bottles, and then we're going to send you little concentrates in the post that you then top up with water to use, and you use far, far less than you do in mainstream detergent. So it's like, well, here is a clear proposition for customers, and getting them to buy into that idea of, oh, I've actually got beautiful clothes I want to take care of properly all year round rather than spend money on replacing them, and I care about doing my everyday laundry in the right way. There were clear propositions for customers. But I think, like, one last small point, your thing about what keeps customers coming back. Having worked in lots of subscription businesses, sometimes the best thing that you can do is let a customer go. And from a subscription point of view, one of the most important things is making that cancellation journey as easy as possible. Because if you're not, you're then closing that door to that relationship. I don't know if any of you remember the old days of Love Film. Love Film used to make it really, really difficult to cancel the subscription. So as a result, nobody ever wanted to come back. Whereas when I was at Birchbox, up to 40% of our subscriptions would come from people who are coming back. That they'd had a rest, they'd had a break, we made it really easy for them to leave, then we made it really easy for them to come back. So it is about that as well.
Yeah. I think if anyone learns anything today, it's that they won't be purchasing water-filled detergent from Tesco. Omar. So obviously there's lots of different types of loyalty programs that brands can go for. So at what stage should a brand think about introducing memberships versus points or referrals?
So there are 2 thoughts on this, and I don't have an answer, but I have the data. We see a lot of fashion brands using membership. Loyalty works less compared to that, and in beauty brands I see a lot of loyalty working and membership not working. So we're trying to figure out why this is happening. We feel urgency in expiry of coins and this and that for a beauty product picks it up. And when you do something like this in fashion, like the coins are expiring, buy a black t-shirt, buy a blue jeans, that doesn't really work. They want a more longer time frame, like a 1-year, 2-year membership program, and they want a steady discount whenever they think of buying it. So verticals matter a lot. Secondly, in terms of stage, that membership is also very advanced. You start with something very, very basic. You start with data collection, as I said, then you start with another use case, then you start with another use case, then you go to tiering, and then you can think of membership. If you don't have a substantial base, coming on and on again, you want to have some acquisition, and then you hit the retention. If you just start from day one a membership program, it probably won't work. So membership really works like a later 2-year, 3-year down the line, all category-wise. Pet brands, supplement brands, membership work. Beauty, we have not seen much.
Amazing. Matt, so you've just sort of touched on the unboxing part. How should brands think about unboxing as part of retention?
It's such an important part of retention where, the worst thing you can do with a really kind of sexy brand, we'll call it, is that you receive just a brown box with your product inside. There's no personalization to it. There's no personality. There's no brand personality or brand meaning coming across with that. So it's so important that with the unboxing experience that it feels personal, it feels memorable, it feels considered within that area. So if the customer receives it and it's beautifully packaged and there's a message from the founder, it's a call to action, link to socials, it's so meaningful for the customer. They feel like they're really personally engaging in the brand, not just at the point of purchase, but they're still being re-engaged when you've got the customer's 100% attention at that moment. They're solely focused on you. So it's so important that you make that experience as memorable as possible. I think from experience with some of the brands that I work with, those that are really, really successful have got product with an element of personalization to it. For example, it could be an insert with a link to a subscription model, or it could be a personalization in terms of a thank you note. There's all sorts of things you can do these days, and we do that within our fulfillment services. So I think it's such an important part of retention. That's your opportunity to retain that customer, because you're not going to retain them at the point of purchase initially. You've got the opportunity to make sure you do really retain them when they get their first order.
It's so true, though. The experience myself and Janis were actually talking about on the break, it keeps you coming back as well. Janis, so what has surprised you most about customer loyalty?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm going to say. So I have history with like when I joined Birchbox, one of the things that was making the business essentially struggle with profitability and growth and all of those things was we had a deeply unprofitable points scheme. And one of my first tasks was, okay, you need to turn this around. But we had this really loyal customer base who were really addicted to points. So we would have lost a huge amount of our subscriber base if we just turned it off. So at that point, I did a lot of research into understanding, different types of loyalty, and kind of that left me deeply skeptical about the traditional points-based loyalty schemes. They tend to just reward people who would have bought anyway. And what I've then worked on since is like, how do you build a relationship with a customer that's based on mutual respect? It's about mutual value exchange. It's not just the products that they buy, but how they feel about you as a brand, that you genuinely care about them and you're not just after their money. And there are many aspects to that. That's, personalization, showing you understand the customer. It's, having community, so they feel like they're part of something that's not just about you and the brand. It's about, other customers as well. It's about great content. It's about really feeling like you support them in any way. So for us, it's not just like, oh, how do you use our products to wash your clothes? Well, actually, how should you repair your clothes? How should you take care of them more generally, even if you're not using our products? It's like that mutual value, mutual respect. If you can really do that right, you can build a brand that people think of as part of their identity. And if you get that, then that person is going to be deeply loyal to your brand. They're going to advocate for you, all of those things.
And I think we've got time for a few more quick questions. Omar, so what's the biggest mistake founders make when trying to launch loyalty quickly?
So they have a lot of bias. Like, just take an example, like if Janis had met me last year and she knew about Nector, we wouldn't be having this problem. I would probably solve it for her, the loyalty program. So it's basically like you have a lot of bias that this one is doing that, I want to do this, I want to do that. We generally go by data. So the first day you put us, we ask you, what is your brand, what are the competitors, and what is the best practice? And then we show it to you. This is what X is doing, this is what Y is doing, this is what Z is doing, and this is how it will work. And we set up realistic expectations. You're not going to change everything 1 month, 1 quarter. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. So I think biases are the biggest blocker to any tool, whether it's loyalty, emails, WhatsApp, anything. Biases that we have, and the data will always be opposite of that. So whatever we have, I feel that.
And to finish off with you, Matt, so how should brands work with their fulfillment partner to enable them to scale?
That's my favourite question, thank you.
Thank God I asked.
So this is kind of the lifeblood and the DNA of the business that I work for and lots of other fulfillment companies out there, because we don't see ourselves, yes, we are a cost, and yes, we are an element on a P&L, which is a necessary evil. But however, we are more than that. We are growth enablement, and we really do want to understand how our brands work. So really, first thing I'm going to say to that question really is data is key. So it's really clear forecasting, it's really clear promotional laydowns, it's really clear understanding of new product launches, and crucially when this is going to be. Because from a fulfillment perspective, we don't like surprises. We can't turn things around in 24 hours. You need a bit more time to be able to resource, allocate, train people, make sure that everything is going to run seamlessly. And crucially around seasonality as well. So not every season's the same. Peak starts differently every year, and brands have different peaks. We work with lots of apparel brands, and they have different collections throughout the year. So it's really understanding what makes that brand tick throughout the year, using that data to then actually create something, create a proposal, and then review on that within monthly, quarterly, or annual business reviews and joint business plans that we have with a lot of our top clients. So in reality, we want to be seen, and we'd hope that brands here will be able to work with their fulfillment partners really closely to understand the scalability, and scale comes from data in reality in this industry.
I think like what you've basically all just summarised is that retention isn't a reactive support. There's actually so much data and analytical work to put into it, so not to think about it. Well, think about it before you acquire, I guess. Thank you so much, guys.